Welcome to today's live Ielts class. My name is Adrian and I'm streaming to you from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. I hope everybody has had a great start to their week, staying healthy and staying strong. Welcome Kyber, welcome members. Hi Pumma, Atharwa, Sharman. Good to see many of you joining in the class. That's fantastic. I can't read the Cyrillic names, but I am reading questions and answers for everyone as much as I can. Just a quick little last minute correction for the title of today's class. It is a part 1 speaking class today, and I will be talking to you about how to start with that band 9 fluency. And of course, while we wait for a few more of your fellow students, this class is presented to you by aehelp.com. For academic IELTS success, visit us there. For the general IELTS, visit us at gieltshelp.com. That's generalieltshelp.com, where we have lots and lots of materials to help you improve your English and your communication. Let me show you these websites real quick. This is our academic IELTS website here with the blue background. You just have to click that big red button to join our premium package. It's a one-time payment for lifetime access. We are an official British Council IELTS registration center and certified agents as well. For the general IELTS, again, gieltshelp.com. It's the green background, and just hit that big red button to join us there. Once you do that, you have a My Student account with computer-based practice exams. You have lots and lots of HD lesson videos, audio CDs, and you even have a chance to find a student partner for speaking. So check that out. You can click on that, accept the terms, and then you can video or audio chat with somebody in this window here. All right, let's get back to our lesson. If you have any questions, students, you can contact me at adrian@aehelp.com. I will gladly answer all of your inquiries. And our schedule is up for this week. So we have classes from today until Saturday. We'll have some reading for members tomorrow, and then we'll do some listening strategy and practice for everyone tomorrow as well. So check out that schedule. It's always on our YouTube community posts also. All right, everyone. So this is a speaking class. Make sure to speak and repeat when you hear me ask questions, give answers, repeat the questions, repeat the answers, practice questions as well as answers. Okay? All right. So your speaking exam is basically 12 minutes, roughly. And it could be with a native English speaker. In some cases, it might not be a native English speaker, but it will be an expert user of the English language who is testing you. So be ready to hear different kinds of accents from your examiner, okay? Don't be surprised if they speak with some kind of a foreign accent as well. And when you go to your exam, go early, okay? Take some questions with you. Practice with other candidates who are there. I always recommend this, okay? Be confident, okay? Imagine that your examiner is your grandfather or your grandmother. They're very, very loving. They need to hear full, fluent answers. You don't have to be scared of them. You just need to express yourself loud and clear so that they can hear you, okay? So think about them as your grandmother or your grandfather, not your friend, okay? We speak too casually to our friends, not your boss. We're kind of anxious sometimes when we speak to our boss. So it's best to kind of imagine them as your grandpa or your grandma. All right, so just a couple of tips here then. So tip 1, visualize your examiner as a grandparent. Speak loud and clear with complete sentences. Okay. Another important tip with part 1, a lot of students seem to forget this. Part 1 are questions related to you specifically, okay, to you. So it's very important for these high band 8, band 9 scores that you are responding to your examiner from your perspective. It's called the first person voice. So from I, me, my, okay? So this is a really important one, and I'm going to emphasize this today. So remember, part 1 is about you, okay? You must answer in the first person voice, meaning I, me, my, myself, my friend, in this manner. At the same time, I'm basically telling you, do not generalize the answer like people or, well, there are lots of, but the one that's, okay? Don't use that kind of a sentence template or expression. And do not use you, okay? I still hear that often where there's a question like, how often do you wear a jacket? And then the student says, well, you wear a jacket when you go outside and you wear a jacket when it's raining. No, 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 no. How often do you wear a jacket? So I frequently wear a jacket. I wear a jacket 2 to 3 times each week when it's raining, especially in the fall season. So it's all about you, okay? Keep that in mind. Is that clear, everyone? So I see that we have a good number of students in the chat now, about 170 of you. Welcome, Carolina, our moderator as well. It's nice to see you here. Thank you for that. So is everybody clear on that? That part 1 is really about you, and your answers have to be specific. Your responses must sound specific and original with details, explanations, and examples. Okay, super, super important. Okay, so I see some thumbs up coming from some of students. That's great, just great. So it's all about you. Okay, Niraj says, understood. All right, so let's get into this a little bit. You get to your exam, and the examiner will welcome you. They should have kind of like a serious, indifferent kind of tone. So they shouldn't be looking all happy. They shouldn't be looking all grumpy. But they're human, so there's no guarantee that can happen, okay? Don't worry about the examiner. You're there to do a job. Focus on yourself, okay? I know there are lots of cultural differences in how we interact with people, but in the IELTS exam, it's a test. You are there to do a job. Focus on yourself. Don't focus on the examiner. Don't focus on their attitude or the way that they're looking at you or the clothing. None of that matters. All that matters is that you do a good job, okay? So you go in, the examiner will welcome you, and the examiner will say, welcome to the speaking portion of the IELTS exam. My name is Adrian. I will be your examiner for this part of the test. I will record this for clerical purposes. This is candidate number 987654321. The exam is currently being conducted in Rio de Janeiro at 13 o'clock And now we shall begin. For part one, I will ask you some questions to get to know you better, some questions on a general topic. Firstly, may I see your identification? Can you please just show it to me? They're not going to touch it because of COVID right now, so they will just ask you to show it to them, okay? As soon as you hear that first request, remember, it's about you, part one, personal, full sentence answers, okay? Buckrat says, of course, sir. Here it is. I used this to register for the exam a couple of weeks ago. Please have a look. All right, Buckrat, careful with your word orders. Okay, or your word order. Sharman says, certainly my pleasure. Here's my passport that I used to register for this test a week ago. Please have a look. Very good. Andre says, yes, of course. Please take a look. Andre, I would definitely put the word please in there just to be a little bit more polite and professional. All right. Hemant, the TOEFL test is a fair bit different than the Ielts, so make sure that you prepare for it. Larient says, certainly here it is. This is my ID that I used to register for the exam online last Monday. Okay, that works, Larient. Students, register for your exam 2 to 3 weeks before you plan to take it, especially these days. Okay, don't leave it for a week. It's a good idea to do 2 to 3 weeks before at least. Okay. Janil says, yes, of course, here it is. 1 second. I can properly show you my credentials. Yep, please have a look. Very good, Janil. I like how you're coming up with original answers each week. That's great. You're being creative, and that's really important. Okay. Rahul says, yes, certainly. Here's my passport that I used to register for the examination a month ago. Please have a look. Very good, Rahul. So nice. I'm glad to see that there are more and more students now who are understanding the importance of this first question and how it sets the tone for your attitude for the remainder of the speaking test. So this first question should not be undervalued or underestimated. Okay, so yes, I have my passport right here. I used it to register for the exam 2 weeks back. Please take a look at my credentials. Okay. All right. So, yeah, don't underestimate this first question. It will set the tone for the rest of your speaking exam. So, here, the examiner hears fluency. They hear nice natural language. You're going to trigger thoughts in their head. They're going to be thinking, oh, okay, here's a student that prepared. They're here to communicate. They're speaking fluently, and they're confident. Okay. All right. So repeat after me again. Speak and repeat, students. May I see your identification? Yes, I have my passport right here. I used it to register for the exam 2 weeks back. Please take a look at my credentials. Okay. And what is your full name? It's the next question, logically. Okay. So again, continuing in the same spirit. Full sentence answers, okay? Use your vocabulary right away. At home when you're practicing, practice different ways to respond and introduce, okay? All right. Kyber says, my last name is Moman and my first name is Kyber, so please just call me Kyber. It's what I'm used to being called by family and friends. Very good, Kyber. I just kind of shorten it up a little bit at the end. Andre says, my first name is Andre and my family name is Uskov. Please call me by my first name, Andre. All right, Andre, nice. Again, nice and fluent. Sammy says, my full name is Siva Sankar. My surname is Pulitvarthi. Please call me by my nickname. That's what I like to be called. It's Sammy. Okay. Where's your nickname, Sammy? You got to make sure to include that. So don't rush. Remember, it's grandma, grandpa. You got to be really clear with them. Sharmin says, well, my given name is Sharmin Rahman and my surname is Sarah. Please call me by my surname because it makes me feel more comfortable. Okay, Sharmin, if your given names are Sharmin Rahman, then those are your given names. So you need to say, well, my given names are Sharmin Rahman. So if you are using your first and middle name, those are your given names. Okay, so careful with the plural. Don't make awkward plural singular mistakes introducing your name. That would not fare well for a band 9 start. Okay, so do not make mistakes in these warm-up questions. That just does not look good or does not sound good with the examiner. They'll right away go, oh, okay, they might be fluent, but they're definitely not an expert user, right? So Himanshi says, sir, my full name is Himanshi Notna, but you can call me by my first name, Himanshi. Not but, okay? But is a contrast, Himanshi. So a clear way to say that is my full name is Himanshi Notna. Please call me by my first name, Himanshi. It's kind of awkward to say but call me by my, okay? All right, so my given names are Tiffany, Sandra, and my surname, as you can see in my passport, is Philip. Please call me by my middle name, Sandra. This is what I'm used to. Okay. All right. So I'm just making this up. Clearly, it's not my name, but I'm just giving you again another example. So people have all kinds of beautiful names around the world, depending on what your names are. This is just an example. Again, repeat after me. You should always give the name that's in your passport. If you don't, the examiner's kind of going to look at you like, can you give me your name that's in the passport and then tell me what you want to be called? Okay. So again, question, what is your full name? My given names are Tiffany, Sandra, and my surname, as you can see in my passport, is Philip. Please call me by my middle name, Sandra. This is what I'm used to. Okay, so that would be natural and again, clear for the examiner, showing that fluency and that confidence right away. Okay, all right. And then the examiner will ask you 1 or 2 questions, again, about you. So keep in mind, it's always about you. So I, me, my, talking about yourself clearly. Okay. All right. So a very typical question that you can get for this kind of icebreaker part of the test is, what is your hobby? So what is your hobby? This is what you like to do in your free time, your leisure time. It's an activity that you do regularly, day in and day out. Most of us have hobbies. If you don't have one, make one up. Okay. All right. So Kirthi says, due to the pandemic, I developed a new hobby, painting, and I'm doing this at least for an hour daily. It's become my regular habit. Okay, Kirthi, not bad. That's simply just an answer. So again, you want to answer, explain, and example. It shows more fluent, coherent use of language. It's better communication. So explanation of due to the pandemic is a bit awkward. I mean, is it just because of the pandemic that you started painting? Or is it an activity that you have been interested in for a long time, you just never had time for because you used to like drawing as a child? So give a bit more clarity. And when did you do it last? What do you paint? Do you paint pictures of people or do you paint pictures of scenery, landscapes, mountains, forest, trees? So a little bit more clarity, Kirthi, and you'll do better. Okay. All right. Again, I can't read the Cyrillic, but I can read your answer. My hobby is cooking different national cuisines, especially Palo. Also, I cooked Palo yesterday. It gives me pleasure to do this, as I enjoy the various flavors and I enjoy surprising my friends with different dishes. Okay. All right. That's good. So just going to do a little adjusting here to get a bit more contrast. There we go. Again, that's good. I made a couple of corrections to upgrade your use of vocabulary and the example as well, but that's a great answer. So cooking can certainly be a hobby, and it's one I enjoy very much as well. Kashirsha Ronan, our member, says, these days I'm keeping myself busy with sewing. I find it both relaxing and useful. Just yesterday I sewed a pair of mittens for my nieces. Kashirsha, that is a beautiful answer. So take note of that answer, everyone. That's the typical classical answer, explain, example with nice natural flow. So let's try Kashirsha's one more time. Kashirsha says, these days I'm keeping myself busy with sewing. I find it both relaxing and useful. Just yesterday I sewed a pair of mittens for my nieces. That's a wonderful answer, Kashirsha, for this question. Okay. What is your hobby? Well, recently I have picked up oil painting as I've been working from home, so I have more time to dedicate to this, and I have been wanting to do this for a number of years, since I always loved drawing as a child. Just yesterday, I put in an hour on a landscape painting of the Rocky Mountains that I've been working on for this past month. Okay, so let's take a look at this answer, and then I will explain it in detail for you, why this is a band 9 and what you need to pay attention to in order to generate such an answer. Okay, so first of all, just repeat after me. So what is your hobby? Well, recently I've picked up oil painting as I've been working from home, so I have more time to dedicate to this, and I've been wanting to do this for a number of years, since I've always loved drawing as a child. Just yesterday I put in an hour on a landscape painting of the Rocky Mountains that I've been working on for this past month. All right, now when you give an answer like that, clearly you have to be fluent. So you can't get stuck halfway through your answer for 3-4 seconds, because then the examiner might interrupt you. They realize that you're getting lost, you're going off topic, you're not sure what you want to say, so they might interrupt you. So giving an answer like this, firstly, you do have to be fluent. Okay, so you have to say this in one breath. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean you can't breathe while you're talking, but it has to be fluent, connected, without awkward stops or breaks, okay? Notice that very kind of natural start. I have picked up oil painting. So picked up here is a phrasal verb, or an idiom, a small idiom. And phrasal verbs are considered idiomatic language. So if you look it up, you'll find that it's one and the same. So this kind of idiomatic language immediately shows a comfort and a knowledge of the English language, or with the English language. So I've picked up oil painting, as I've been working. So here the as right away indicates that I'm explaining why I have this hobby of oil painting. In addition, I'm using a contraction I've, and I'm using present perfect progressive, been working. So I'm showing that grammatical range and accuracy right away. Okay. So I've been working from home, so I have more time to dedicate to this. And I have been wanting. So one more time, I'm putting in that present perfect progressive to really covertly tell the examiner, like, hey, look at me. I'm confident with the complex grammar in the English language. I don't use it just once. I can use it twice. For a number of years, since I always loved drawing as a child. And then here's my example. Just yesterday, I put in an hour on a landscape painting of the Rocky Mountains that I've been working on for this past month. So one last time, another present perfect progressive. Okay, that's clear, everybody? So that's what you want to practice. Answer, explain, example, and fluent answers with complex grammar and good lexical resource. Okay. Blossom Gidhar is asking, is it okay if we use hand gestures while speaking? Yes, it is absolutely fine. So a couple of questions that I get asked. We'll get right into our part one questions here. But just for now, so a couple of questions that that people ask are, okay, so common student questions that people ask are, is it okay to use hand gestures? And another question that a lot of people ask is it important to make eye contact? Okay, so here's an interesting answer for you. So although hand gestures and eye contact do not directly impact your speaking score, they do indirectly impact your speaking score. Okay. So basically, when the examiner is marking you for your speaking performance in the Ielts, they're looking at fluency, coherence, grammatical range, and grammatical accuracy. They're looking for lexical resource, and they're looking for pronunciation. That's their marking criteria. That's what they're actually marking you on. And sometimes, you know, you'll hear IELTS trainers say, so eye contact doesn't matter, body language doesn't matter. I don't agree with that, okay? I think it's very important to pay attention to your body language and to your eye contact while you communicate. Using body language and eye contact appropriately does help your communication. It's human nature. It's common to all people. So do make eye contact. It shows that you're confident. It will help you to enunciate your words. It will help you to focus on your ideas. And I recommend keeping your hands above the table and using them whenever possible to assist your speaking, as I'm doing right now, because your body language in your brain is connected with your verbal communication. So I studied psychology in my university, and I certainly studied a lot of research that shows that these are very connected pathways in our brains between body language, eye contact, and the language that we use. So when you're practicing, do practice that. Do pay attention to that. Everybody clear on what I just said? So that was a very good question by a student. what are hand gestures about. So use hand gestures, pay attention to eye contact because it's related to the quality of your communication. The examiner is not going to minus a mark like, oh, they just used a hand gesture, -1, they lifted their arm. They're not going to do that, okay? But they will say that the student's more fluent, more coherent, and that will be related to the hand gesture, okay? All right, it's clear? All right. Good, I see some thumbs up by David, Eigerman, and Kyber as well, all right? Okay, so when an examiner or when somebody tells you, oh, hand gestures don't matter, yes, they do, all right? Just not directly, all right? Okay, so you're past this introduction and icebreaker, and then the examiner will introduce some kind of a topic for part 1. Don't be surprised by the topic. It can be really weird, like let's talk about bicycles, or let's talk about television, let's talk about wearing shoes and sandals. So the part 1 topic for IELTS speaking can really be just about anything, and it will always be related to you. So even if we're talking about shoes and sandals, it will be about your shoes, your sandals, your footwear. Okay, that's what it'll be. Let's talk about your footwear. Okay. In this case, we're not talking about your footwear. We're talking about clothes. Okay. So here, the examiner will say, okay, let's talk about clothes. How often do you wear a jacket? So it'll be just, really random questions, so be ready for it, okay? So how often do you wear a jacket? Kyber says, I frequently put on a jacket almost every day during the winter to stay warm, as it lasts from November to February. Throughout these months, I most likely have my jacket on 3 to 4 hours. Very good, Kyber. Such as today, I put it on this morning and I haven't taken it off since, right? Very nice, Kyber. All right. Andre says, I am always wearing a jacket when outside, especially when it's a bit chilly. Like yesterday, the temperature fell to 12 degrees. When I was at a birthday party at my friend's place. We were outside for most of the party, so I was wearing a jacket. Okay, Andre, careful with your grammar and word choice. All right, pay attention a little bit there. Okay. Ahmad says, well, recently I wore a jacket while going to my friend's birthday party because it's summer. I don't often wear jackets. It's uncomfortable in the heat. Okay, Ahmed, so how often? Frequency, always, sometimes, rarely, never. And of course, give some quantitative. So how many days of the year? How many hours a day? All right, that will give more clarity for how often you really wear a jacket. So think of numbers, everyone. That's a big tip here for this question. Think of numbers. Nisarg says, well, in Ahmedabad, there is a lot of humidity, so wearing a jacket is not very comfortable. I usually only wear a jacket in the winter, maybe 30, 40 times in a year. Okay. Binod says, I'm in Canada at the moment, in Victoria. I don't know how to find a job here. I've been in Victoria for a month. Binod, you're in the same city as me. Binod, there are lots of different places that help people to find jobs. So look around for that. Okay, and then of course postings on Used Victoria, Craigslist for Victoria, as well as the Times Colonist online classifieds in Victoria. So that's my advice. All right. Gaming with AT&T says, well, not so much. As I live in Bangladesh, the environment is the climate, not environment gaming. The climate is very hot, so I wear a jacket only in the winter season. Okay. Ashi says, I absolutely love to wear a jacket because they are so cozy. And given the choice, I would wear a jacket everywhere. Okay, Ashi, you're kind of off topic. The question is, how often do you wear a jacket? Be really careful, students. When it's often, right away you should think always, usually, sometimes, rarely, or seldom, and never. Okay? So, I frequently wear a jacket since I live in Victoria, which is a city with a temperate climate. Not only that, but it is often rainy. So in the winter months, I put on a heavy coat, and during spring and fall, I wear either a light windbreaker or a rain jacket. I'd say I wear a jacket for about a third or 2/3 of each year whenever I go outside. In fact, I wore a jacket coming to this exam. All right, so here is a long-winded answer, but it's absolutely okay because I'm staying on topic. No pun intended with the long-winded because of the windbreaker. So we have different kinds of jackets, and we wear jackets for different occasions. If you live on the northwest Pacific coast, then you know all about wearing jackets. So here we go. Question and answer. Repeat after me. How often do you wear a jacket and why? I frequently wear a jacket since I live in Victoria, which is a city with a temperate climate. Not only that, but it is often rainy. So in the winter months, I put on a heavy coat, and during spring and fall, I wear either a light windbreaker or a rain jacket. I'd say I wear a jacket for about 2/3 of each year whenever I go outside. In fact, I wore a jacket coming to this exam. All right. Now, students, if you see new vocabulary or when you hear new vocabulary in these lessons, like windbreaker, which is a type of jacket, it's a light jacket that we put on when it's windy or rainy to stop the wind from going through our jacket and cooling us down. Write these words down. So write down windbreaker, look it up, add it to your vocabulary, expand your lexical resource. Okay? Super important to pick up new words, especially in context, and use them right away as soon as you can. Okay? All right. Next question. Where do you like shopping for clothes? So answer, explain, example. Keep focusing on this strategy. So where do you like shopping for clothes? Andre says, I have a couple of places to go for buying clothes and find new attire for myself. The local mall called Rockstar, which is located about 5 kilometers from my home. Today I'm planning to go there to buy a new jacket. All right, Anji. A couple of places, maybe name another place if you say a couple of places, just so it's more sensible. Okay. Gaming with A&T says, I like to buy most of my clothes from local shops in my hometown, mainly because the clothes there are more affordable in comparison to some of the fancy-looking chain stores. Okay, and give me an example. I bought a beautiful pair of jeans for $20 at my local clothing store, but the same kind of jeans at Gap in the mall would cost me $100. Okay, gaming. So if you're going to go into that explanation of why you buy your clothes at your local shops because they're more affordable, give an example. So give an example of the cost of a pair of jeans. All right, we'll give some quantitative language, more fluency, and you'll pick up more points. You'll be much closer to that band 9 start. Okay. Okay, Puma, Versace, it's a brand name, but doesn't really answer the question. So you got to give a full sentence answer like Reba. Reba Khan says, well, there are a plethora of shopping complexes in my hometown. However, my favorite place to shop for clothes is the Mac store, which is located 20 kilometers from my home. They provide exciting discounts. Okay, Reba, good. Reba, don't include that first sentence where, well, there are a plethora of shopping complexes in my hometown. Nobody's asking you about that. Shopping is so common these days. Most big cities or bigger towns have a lot of options for shopping. So it's known. Again, part 1, it's about you. Be specific, be direct. So just start with my favorite place to shop for clothes is the Max, which is located 20 kilometers from my home. They provide exciting discounts. Last week, I got a new skirt and a new blouse for half off. I was really happy. Okay, so that would be a better answer, Reba. It'd be more specific. You'd pick up more points for that. All right. So again, be specific, students. Don't include kind of filler sentences. All right. Charmin says, well, nowadays I prefer to shop online because I can buy anything and the brands that I want. Aside from this, it's also very convenient and I don't have to travel to buy my clothing. Just yesterday, I ordered a new pair of jeans from Amazon, and I'm really happy with them. So, Charmin, good. Don't generalize. So you say commodities at the end, but we're talking about clothes. So focus on clothes. Okay. So these days, I like buying my attire at both the local mall, which is a short 10-minute walk from my home and has brand name shops like Max and Nike, as well as online from Amazon and other big retailers. I find the online selection amazing. Last week, I ordered a unique looking hat to go with my winter jacket. All right. So there's our answer. Where do you like shopping for clothes? Again, speak and repeat, everyone. So where do you like shopping for clothes? These days, I like buying my attire at both the local mall, which is a short 10-minute walk from my home. It has brand name shops like Nike and Max, as well as online from Amazon and other big retailers. I find the online selection amazing. Last week, I ordered a unique looking hat to go with my winter jacket. Okay. All right. So not only, but also both and. Keep your thoughts broad. Keep open-minded. Meaning that don't just think about the mall, think about online shopping. It's very popular these days. Then you can explain a little bit more, give some more specific examples. Okay, next question. And you will get these kinds of personal, somewhat awkward questions. What do you wear to work? Give me a nice full sentence answer for that one. I think many people with COVID and lockdowns wear pajamas to work these days, but yeah. So Marasa, good to see you in the class. Marasa says, well, when I go to college for teaching, I put on jeans, either with a top or t-shirt, as I feel comfortable and I can easily deliver lectures. Very good, Marasa. A couple of slight corrections there. Pay attention to that. Okay, Spiros says, well, I don't have an occupation since I haven't finished school yet, so during school hours I prefer to wear comfortable casual clothes such as cotton trousers. They help me to feel relaxed while sitting for long hours at my desk. Okay, Spiros, notice I fine-tuned your response a little bit so it's more natural, added a little bit of clarity. Okay, Melody says, I usually wear formal attire for work, such as a blouse and a skirt and a pair of heels. However, on Friday, it's mostly casual wear, so I put on a pair of jeans and a polo shirt. Okay, Melody, very good. Just a slight correction at the end there. Yeah, formal attire, casual wear, very nice use of lexical resource. That's what you want to do for those higher band scores for starting strong, definitely. Okay. Hurong Nguyen says, when I choose my attire for work, I usually opt for not only comfortable but also appropriate clothes to wear. My go-to outfit is a blouse and trousers, which ticks off both these requirements. Very nice, Huang. Nice use of natural language. I did make a couple of slight corrections, but overall, nice use of idiomatic language and great explanation. Okay, that was a great explanation. All right. Let's see. Rosalind says, I like buying my clothes from Jumia Shop. I love the clothes they have for sale. Just yesterday, they had Black Friday sales and the prices were very affordable. Okay, Rosalind, that was for the previous question, which is good. Maybe tell me what the prices were, what you bought, a little bit more detail. Okay. Marion Martina Lee says, to be honest, I'm still a student right now, so I don't have a choice of what to wear but a uniform. When I have school activities, I will wear comfortable attire like sweatpants and t-shirt. Okay. Mariam, very good. Yeah, so you wear a school uniform and you made that clear. Absolutely. Okay. What do you wear to work? Recently, I have been working from home, so I often wear informal clothing while working at my computer, such as joggers and a t-shirt. But when I have to go into my office, I put on formal clothing, slacks, and a dress shirt with tie. All right. So here we go. What do you wear to work? Recently, I have been working from home, so I often wear informal clothing while working at my computer, such as joggers and a t-shirt. But when I have to go into my office, I put on formal clothing, slacks, and a dress shirt with a tie. Okay. Let's go down a little bit here. I'm going to jump these next questions. I want to get to this one here. I want you to use some present perfect. So that's why I'm jumping some questions. Plus, also, I'm pushing your fluency here for those of you that did your homework, great. And if you have some answers for those previous ones, fantastic. But let's jump to this question right here. This question is in the present perfect form. So has your clothing style changed in the last 10 years? How? It's very likely that the examiner, especially if you're doing a good job, will ask you a present perfect or conditional question for part one, just to see how you do with a question that's a little bit more complex. The grammar is more complex. So here you have to reflect that complexity. So has your clothing style changed in the last 10 years? How? Give me a nice full sentence answer for this one. So, has your clothing style changed in the last 10 years? If yes, how? Okay, give me a full sentence answer. Answer, explain, and example. That's what you need to be thinking about here. Okay, I'm going to write an answer while you think of yours. All right, so now we've got lots of answers coming up, which is fantastic. All right, Balbir says, definitely yes. Dressing styles have changed a lot since many years. People started wearing modern dresses in the offices and meetings. For instance, I wore freak jeans and t-shirts for the annual meet. Balbir, the problem there is you're a little bit off topic. Again, the question is present perfect. Has your clothing style changed? So it's present perfect, and it's about you, your clothing style. So not clothing styles in general, but your clothing styles, okay? Harika Priya says, I do not really think I have changed my clothing style, but after a little thought, I could understand that I'm opting for skirts over jeans recently. So you have been wearing skirts more than jeans recently, okay? Harika, let me give you a better answer, okay? So pay attention. So here we go. I do not really think I have changed my clothing style much, but giving it a bit more thought, I have been opting for skirts more than jeans recently. Okay, but giving it a bit more thought. Okay. All right. Gaspel says, of course, yes. 10 years back, I used to wear clothes which had been chosen by my mom, usually trousers and a shirt. But now I have been wearing clothes of my choice, which are normally t-shirts and jeans. Okay, very good, Gaspel. Put that present perfect in there. Okay. Janil says, yes, definitely my clothing style has changed significantly from my childhood to now. I used to wear tight denim jeans and a t-shirt in my school days, but nowadays I have been wearing mostly formal attire due to my professional career that I have just talked about. Very nice, Jainil. That's a great answer. And you're making a connection to your previous answer, which is fantastic. Okay, that's really good. Kanwar Behinder says, without a doubt, yes, I have changed a lot my clothing with my personality in the last 10 years since I have studied about personality and clothing. And with this, I have evolved as a fashionable person. Nowadays, I have been wearing brand names and expensive clothes. Okay, good. All right. Julia Orlando says, I have changed my clothing style drastically, but to be honest, I did have similar tastes as before. I just didn't have the guts to embrace it because I have been afraid of not pleasing my entourage. Okay, Julia, very good. All right, I like it. Okay, here's my answer. So, has your clothing style changed in the last 10 years? How? Yes, my fashion sense has become quite different now compared to a decade ago. Back in 2010, I used to wear casual clothing when going out with friends, such as jeans and a shirt, but now I tend to dress a bit more trendy with semi-formal clothes and brand names. This is likely because I have been making more money so I can afford better quality clothing. All right. So I'm kind of just making that up, by the way, but it works. So that's a good answer that will get you that high band score reflecting that present perfect and lots of good paraphrasing. Students, that's it for today. So lots of tips, great work. Really nice answers. Many of you are really starting to figure out the correct content for a band 9, and that's nice to see. To get all of our HD video lessons with strategies and tips and lots of practice like this, definitely check us out at aehelp.com for academic IELTS, gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. We are world leaders when it comes to IELTS exam preparation, and it's worth spending a few dollars to get these materials. Just click that big red button to join our premium package at aehelp.com for academic IELTS and gieltshelp.com for general IELTS. I will be back tomorrow with reading for members, listening for the all chat. Carolina, thank you so much for moderating the chat today. That's always very welcomed and appreciated. Have a great rest of your day, everyone. Much love to all of you wherever you are in the world. I'm Adrian, and I'm signing out from beautiful Victoria here on the west coast of Canada. Bye for now.